My name is Chandler Gregg. I've been practicing for about 18 years here in Springfield, Missouri. I practice at a firm, Strong-Garner-Bauer. We do primarily personal injury, products liability, trucking cases. We're trial lawyers. So the case was a trucking crash. It occurred in May of 2019. My client was coming from her daughter's recital at her school. She was stopped at an intersection and her light turned green. She proceeded into the intersection and a tractor trailer failed to stop at the stoplight and barreled through the intersection and T-boned her. You know, anytime a case comes in, you want to be able to visualize it for the jury so that the jury fully understands all of the issues in the case. And we were pretty fortunate in this case that, number one, it happened at an intersection where there was a McDonald's. So we had video of the crash occurring. So from that standpoint on liability, we had really good evidence and visualization that we could provide to the jury. In addition, some of the responders that came to the scene were wearing body cams. And so we had good initial injury footage that really showed the horrors and the immediate aftermath of the crash. The thing that we were really looking for then was, how do we visualize Virginia's injuries and display those to the jury so that they understand those injuries as we describe the impact that those have had on her life. I think the hurdle was really identifying and displaying Virginia's injuries. Virginia suffered pretty substantial complications related to both the traumatic brain injury and then an anoxic injury. The traumatic brain injury suffered in the crash was relatively mild. She had no scanning that was done. There was nothing demonstrative from an objective scan showing brain bleed or anything like that. But then she suffered an anoxic event when her trach came out at the hospital, which resulted in encephalopathy in her brain. And so we didn't really have scans to show, here's what that looks like on a scan, so that the jury can visualize those injuries and understand this is why she's having these cognitive limitations. This is why she's having the behavioral disruption that she's having. The visual that DK Global put together is really an illustrative video that goes through each of the body parts that were injured on Virginia. If you've got a client with complex injuries, in my opinion, at minimum, you're going to need a storyboard that goes through all of those injuries so that they don't get so the jury doesn't get lost in them. DK put together a visualization that was more of a video animation that went through each of the body parts, went into her brain and showed the portions of the brain that had been injured, and had call outs to the DTI testing that demonstrated that those areas were injured. It went through the rib fractures, the thoracic and cervical injuries. In my opinion, they did a great job demonstrating visually the injuries that she suffered and the procedures that she underwent as a result of those injuries. Virginia's portion of the case settled for $16 million. She had really catastrophic injuries. From my standpoint, working with DK on this case was very easy. There was collaboration between DK and some of the medical experts on the case, making sure that the illustrations were done appropriately. We were incredibly happy with the work product and how it came out, and believe it helped us get the resolution that we did.